House Republicans are planning a vote on a short-term government funding measure after a previous plan collapsed Wednesday night due to pushback from President-elect Donald Trump. Congress faces a deadline of Friday at midnight to pass a measure known as a continuing resolution or face a government shutdown. If no bill is passed, it would mean potentially millions of federal employees could be furloughed. Federal contractors won't get paid, and certain agencies like the TSA would have to have their employees work without a paycheck all during the holiday season. Now, the new bill includes some of the same provisions from the previous version, including extending the Farm Bill and providing disaster relief aid. It also includes Trump's biggest demand, action on the debt ceiling. If passed, the measure would extend the national debt limit until January 30th, 2027. Democrats are already saying they won't support it.
The Musk-Johnson proposal is not serious. It's laughable. Extreme MAGA Republicans are driving us to a government shutdown.
CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane joins us now on the phone. Scott, busy day in your world. What is and what isn't in this bill?
Yeah, let me explain. I'm on the phone because there's so much movement in the Capitol, Lindsay. The cameras are all blocked off. That's how chaotic the evening is as we begin here in Washington tonight. But to be clear, this new proposal stands little, if any, chance of passing Congress. This is not going to win the day either. Donald Trump wanted two big changes, among other things, from the previously crafted compromise to avert a government shutdown. He wanted the debt ceiling raised so it's not a problem for him in the first months of his presidency, and he wants some of the Democratic priorities cut out of the bill. The new proposal, much slimmer, includes those two things. It raises the debt ceiling through 2027, and it cuts a lot of Democratic programs. That's a big problem as they open the vote here tonight, because raising the debt ceiling is going to cost them some Republican votes. There are conservatives, Lindsay, who will never, ever support raising the debt ceiling on principle and in practicality, and cutting the Democratic priorities. Well, you can imagine whose votes are going to be lost in that regard. You need both parties to overwhelmingly support this thing to pass it into law. They issued this, released it, and they knew pretty much from the jump, Lindsay, this thing was not going to fly. It was not going to pass.
So what happens now? Where would that leave us?
If somebody has an answer to that question, they should call everybody here at the Capitol and let them know what the solution is. There's no silver bullet solution anybody is holding that they can deploy quickly and avert this government shutdown tomorrow. There's a growing acceptance that it's possible, if not likely, there'll be a breach of the deadline tomorrow, midnight Eastern time, for a government shutdown. And the only real ship that can sail on these waters is the previous proposal, the one both parties signed off on, the ones both parties were keen on supporting and were going to pass into law and go home for Christmas. But the problem now is Donald Trump and Elon Musk say they don't like it, so their supporters in Congress no longer like it, and it may be very difficult for them to vote for it now. There's no solution that has been offered that anybody thinks is, at this point, realistic before tomorrow night at midnight.
Can you explain this debt ceiling issue and why Trump wants it in this measure?
Yeah, according to our latest CBS News reporting, there's been some push for some time to get the debt ceiling taken care of while it's still the Biden administration. The debt ceiling is a necessity. You got to do it to avoid a default and an economic calamity, but it is politically toxic. Nobody likes it. Nobody finds it to be a good thing. Trump wanted it off his plate when he takes office. His supporters in Congress are on board with that now. But the thing is, it totally throws off the calculus and the recipe of cooking this thing up. You lose Republican votes, and to make the difference up, you have to win more Democratic votes. And that means you got to sweeten the meal a little bit more for Democrats, and Trump doesn't want that. So he has backed his party into a corner they can't escape from right now, even though they have acceded to his wishes on the debt ceiling and on cutting Democratic priorities. They just haven't won any votes in the process. So,
Scott, I'm out of time with you, but this essentially means that each party is just going to be pointing the finger at the other.
Yes, and you can bank on that being what defines this evening and tomorrow here in Washington.
All right, Scott MacFarlane, thank you. Let's go ahead and bring in CBS News Chief Election and Campaign Correspondent Robert Costa. So, Bob, you spoke with Donald Trump earlier today. What did he say to you about this funding fight?
Good to be with you. When I spoke by phone with President-elect Trump, he said that he wants Republicans to move to eliminate the debt ceiling. That's the federal government's borrowing authority. And that suggestion has now effectively become part of the House Republican plan that has not yet been finalized. You have Speaker Mike Johnson putting forward a plan tonight that, even if, as Scott MacFarlane says, it doesn't pass, there's growing support among many Republicans to get this done, to extend government funding, but at the same time extend the debt limit for 2 years. Now, that doesn't eliminate it like President-elect Trump wants to do, but it does get it off his plate for when he wants to govern in 2025 and work on other issues.
And last night, Trump posted on Truth Social that Republicans who try to pass a continuing resolution that doesn't include raising or eliminating the debt ceiling, quote, should and will be primaried. Is he testing loyalties here?
He's flexing his political muscle. A lot of these Republicans in the House, they want spending cuts to be issued across the government. But what I hear behind the scenes is that whether it's President-elect Trump or his allies talking to members of the House, they're saying that Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy with the Department of Government Efficiency will be recommending agency cuts and spending cuts across the board in 2025, and that now is not the time for them to be mounting a battle over federal spending. They want to give Musk and Ramaswamy and others time to think through the structure of the government, and that this showdown should not be the front or the battlefield for a lot of these conservatives who want to shrink the size of the government.
You know, you brought up Doge. I want to talk more about Trump's relationship with Elon Musk and the kind of influence he's having in this conversation. Let's go ahead and play sound from a couple of Democratic lawmakers today.
But we have a billionaire calling the shots for the GOP, and we'll see what they do today. This is up to them.
Look, billionaires are running the show here. And so what I want to say to people is, you thought you voted for Trump. You didn't actually. You voted for billionaires to run the show. Because who's taking orders from whom? Musk is calling the shots, and the House GOP is falling in line.
What do your Republican sources say, how they feel about it?
There's a lot of support for Elon Musk among House Republicans, among some Senate Republicans. They don't all know him well, but they see him sitting next to President-elect Trump at Mar-a-Lago, at public events, and they know he's an ally of the person who commands the party. So he is someone who's not elected, but certainly wields power at this moment. Some Trump allies privately tell me that Musk should be careful to not ever eclipse President-elect Trump when it comes to public notice. And for now, they seem to have a pretty steady and stable political relationship, and it could really be something to watch in 2025.
Robert Costa, always good when you join us. Thank you.
Here's
a live look of Capitol Hill, where House Speaker Mike Johnson is set to speak soon ahead of a critical government funding vote. We'll bring you those remarks when they happen.